Minister, we know that there's a problem with land hoarding. It very much contributes to the high cost of housing and the lack of adequate supply. And the vacant site levy was designed to address this problem, but I think we'd all accept that it's simply not working. And I'm asking you if you would consider redesigning that scheme to give revenue responsibility for collecting it. And that way, I think it would do what the levy
Minister.
scheme.
Thank you, Deputy Shortall, for your question. Under the vacant site levy provisions of the Urban Regeneration and Housing Act of 2015, planning authorities were empowered to apply a vacant site levy of 3% of the market valuation of relevant properties which were listed on local authority vacant site registers in 2018, which relevant owners were liable to pay in January 2019. The rate of the levy increased to 7% for sites listed on local authority vacant site registers from 2019 onwards, which site owners became liable to pay in January 2020. I am informed by the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage that it proactively engages with local authorities with a view to ensuring that the vacant site levy achieves its full potential in terms of bringing concerned sites into productive use. In this regard, the Department of Housing on the 8th of March 2021 requested the submission of a progress report on the collection of the levy by each local authority. Responses have now been received from each of the 31 local authorities. The Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage is currently assessing the responses received and intends to proactively engage with individual local authorities and identify any issues to be addressed. Each local authority has responsibility for the administration of the vacant site levy and register in their respective catchment area, and a change in government policy would be required to reassign the responsibility for collection of the levy to another body. The Deputy refers to the effectiveness of revenue in collecting the local property tax, but it should be noted that the LPT is a self-assessed tax where compliance is very high. Collection of the vacant site levy involves a physical operation regime which would not align well with how revenue currently conduct operations in that area. So careful consideration will be given by me to the role of local authority functions and to the capacity of the revenue to take on further responsibilities.
Deputy Shortall.
Thanks, Minister. I note you didn't express confidence in the scheme as it's working at the moment, and thanks to work being done by the Business Post, they've reported that last year €21.5 million was owed on vacant sites, and in that same year €21,000 was collected. Now, by any standards, the system isn't working. The local authorities simply don't have the resources or the personnel to do the follow-up on this. So, the figures speak for themselves. Now, Minister, a very experienced person in this area, a solicitor and a tax specialist, has been in touch with you on several occasions and with your department with a proposal on how a new system might operate that, yes, would be based on self-assessment, but there would be penalties unless people actually registered their properties, and that they would have to produce a certificate at the point of sale of the property. And I'd ask if you'd give consideration to such a system.
So if I look at the performance of the vacant site levy at the moment, in 2018, 89 sites were valued at €132 million, and they were liable at the 3% rate in 2019 in respect of the valuation for 2018. For 2019, that 89 sites grew to 181 sites, and in 2020, that grew to 215 sites. Out of those 215 sites, 79 demand letters were issued, and as the Deputy has said, €21,000 in payments were received in respect of 2020. It should be said this was never about revenue generation. It was about the use of the land to see if a catalyst could be put in place to that land use being used more productively and efficiently. And I am going to give consideration to the future of this tax and its role and whether there is a case for it being strengthened.
Shortall.
Thank you. The proposal, Minister, and I'm happy to send you on details of it, is to put the onus on landowners to get themselves put on the register, that they would self-assess, and if they don't, a charge would be put on their land, which must be paid when they sell it. There will be a minimum change needed to legislation to achieve this, whereby the levy is turned into a charge on the land. I think such a system has a lot to recommend it, because the present system is simply not working. The purpose of the system is not obviously as a revenue generating exercise, but it is to make hoarded land available for house building. That's not happening at the moment. And Minister, I'd ask you, if I send you further details of this proposal, which would put the onus on landowners themselves to register their land, if you would take a look at that and learn from the success of other schemes that Revenue has been involved in, the NPPR, for example. And I'm just looking for a commitment that you will consider that as a way of achieving what the levy is intended to achieve.
I believe I have seen the piece of correspondence that the Deputy is referring to, but just in case I haven't, if you share it with me this evening or hand it to me during the vote or later on, be very happy to consider it. But I am aware of a few models in relation to this issue, and Deputy Shortall herself made the correct point. This isn't about how we would generate revenue, it's about how we change the use of land. But I am aware of different models regarding how this is done in different countries, and just in case I've missed the correspondence the Deputy is referring to, I'd be very happy to look at it directly. Thank you.